Happy Friday and welcome back to Drinking by My Shelf. My name is Emma and today I'm going to be doing the Guilty Reader tag. This was a tag set up by Chami over at Read Like Wildfire. I will link to her channel below. You should go and check her out. She's great and she always makes up such good tags. The Guilty Reader tag is all about the crimes we commit as readers. So I'm going to go through and see if I'm guilty of any of these cardinal sins. Question 1. Have you ever re-gifted a book you've been given? I don't think I've done this one. I don't think I've given a book literally as a present to somebody. I've definitely re-gifted them like to charity shops, but I don't think I have like literally wrapped one up and put it under the tree for somebody that I know and love. Question number 2, have you ever said that you've read a book when you haven't? I think that anyone who says they haven't done this is lying, because surely we all lied to our teachers at school about the required reading. And I was like one of the nerds in the class. I read most of the books we were supposed to read because I genuinely loved required reading at school, but I still didn't read all of those books. And at uni as well, there's so many books at uni we were supposed to read. So yeah, I've definitely lied a lot about those. Question 3, have you ever borrowed a book and not returned it? Yes, absolutely. I borrowed my best friend Kelsey's book of The Master and the Margarita when we left school in 2009, and I finally gave it back to her in 2016. So that was a long time I had this one, and she'd given up and was like looking to buy a new copy, and I was like, oh whoops, I've got that one on my shelf. I also borrowed that book that's called like A Girl is a Half-Formed Thing, something like that. I didn't read it and I gave it to charity, so whoops. Don't lend me your books, I can't be trusted. And that's the same reason I never lend out my books either. Question 4, have you ever read a series out of order? I'm not sure if I've done this one. I don't think I've done it with like a proper long series. One of my all-time favourite books is Vile Bodies by Evil and War, and that's technically the sequel to Decline and Fall, and I read that one later on. But they also are standalone books, so I don't think it really counts. So no, I don't think I've read a series out of order. Question 5, have you ever spoiled a book for someone? Yes. I have done this. I spoiled Harry Potter for Kelsey, but I don't think that counts. I think Harry Potter's been out for long enough that you really should know what happens. Skip forward 10 seconds if you don't want any Harry Potter spoilers, but I did ruin for her the fact that Dumbledore dies. But I thought that everyone knew that by now. Question 6, have you ever dog-eared a book? And yes, of course I have. I think the whole obsession with not dog-earing books is completely ridiculous. Like, don't dog-ear your books if you don't want to, that's fine. Use a bookmark, keep them lovely and pristine. But when people keep it as like a point of honour that you shouldn't dog-ear your books, I really don't get it. A lot of my favourite books I own are really old and they're so dog-eared and there's pages falling out and there's notes in the margins. I think it's lovely. That's what gives a book character. Use your bookmarks if you want, but don't judge me for dog-earing my books. Question 7, have you ever told somebody that you don't own a book when you do? Yes, I've definitely done this because, as I mentioned earlier, I really hate lending out my books. That's going to make me sound really mean and selfish, and I guess I just am really mean and selfish, but it stresses me out. Partly because I know that people are really bad at giving back books, and also because my bookshelves are always so meticulously organised. I hate it when there's a book missing and I know that someone else has got it. I've literally had to talk myself down from just buying a new book to fill the gap while someone's borrowed it. It's ridiculous. I have an obsession. It's fine. I won't flat out lie, but if someone's talking about how they want a book, I will imply that I don't have it and that they should go and get their own copy unless they flat out ask me, and then I kind of have to give them the book. Question 8, have you ever told somebody that you haven't read a book when you have? Again, I don't flat out lie about this, but I do tend to strongly imply that I just read book 1 of the 50 Shades trilogy and then thought it was terrible, and I don't usually admit that actually I read all 3 of them in a row. I'd prefer people didn't know that. Question 9, have you ever skipped a chapter or section of a book? Again, yes. Especially with required reading at school, I would sometimes skim read the books. A lot of people doing this tag have given the answer of Fangirl, skipping the Simon Snow sections, and I did do that as well. There was one book I read last year that was told between the points of view of a brother and a sister, and I was really only interested in the sister, so I just skipped the brother every time, and then got to the end and realised I didn't really know what had happened, because the brother's point of view was quite important as well. And I DNF books as well. I know that's another thing people hold as a point of pride that I don't understand, because reading is supposed to be a joy. Why make it into a chore? If you're not liking a book, stop reading it. If you're not liking certain sections, skip them out. Do what you want, it's your books, it's your reading experience. And finally, question 10 is, have you ever badmouthed a book that you actually liked? I'm going to say yes and no for this one. I do badmouth books like Twilight that I think have a lot of problems, even though I actually really enjoyed them. but I don't pretend that I didn't enjoy them. I think it's okay to have liked a book and also see the issues with it and talk about the issues with it. So quite often I will criticise books quite heavily, even if I actually really enjoyed reading the book. But I think that's okay, and they don't really have to contradict each other. Sometimes I'll like nod along and not say anything when people talk about how the writing wasn't very good in a certain book that I liked. Like, people talk quite a lot about Harry Potter's not well written, which I just didn't feel was true. I think the writing is great in that series. But when it comes up, I tend to just nod along, because it's like, I'm an English student, I'm supposed to know it wasn't good writing, but actually, I think the writing's fantastic. So that was the guilty reader tag, and it turns out I've done 7.5 of the guilty reader sins. Whoops! Now go and enjoy your Fridays, but first, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and hit that subscribe button below for new videos every Friday. See you next time! I'm guilty of these crimes.